overall, really great show in a vacuum. You lay everything out on paper. I'm pulling up the card right now. And never have I really watched a show where I liked all the matches so much, but then the more I started thinking about these things, I just kept finding these little warts that for me were like, I can't ignore this. I'm grumpy. And I'm just looking up and down this thing, and it's like these wrestlers showed up and worked their asses off. They worked very hard, a lot of great matches, and then I was just like, I hate either how this match arose or what it did to someone that is coming out of this match, or it was just like, I don't get it. I'm not feeling it. So let's start with we'll start with Jay White and Hangman Page. I saw people going out of their goddamn minds for this match, that they were acting like they saw a match of the year candidate. I'm here to pump the brakes on that. This was a really good match. I would give this like 4 stars and call it a day and never think about it again. But I guess Jay White got a win, and you know how the Jay White folks get. They get a little excited and start going crazy. So I'll let them live with that. But then I'm like, all right. I saw Hangman Page losing clean. And I was like, well, what are we doing? Like, like if it was like, yeah, man, between Jay White and Hangman Page, who do we need to push? I think Jay White has constantly demonstrated himself not to be on Hangman Page's level. So for me, this looked like a Jay White rehab job. But when I look at Hangman Page coming out of this, everything is just being explained away with he's crazy. Like, and that's just like his out for losing these matches. But the last pay-per-view, AEW All Out, he won perhaps one of the biggest matches in AEW history. And like, he just like, you know, he finally beat Swerve. Cage match, just incredible ending. And that was like, basically like, he did everything he did in the cage, but the one thing that got everybody so sucked into this guy was he took a couple steps towards the ring where he was like, he was going back for more, and we heard that big gasp. AEW did not protect this. AEW did not build upon this. We went to the next Dynamite. That show opened up with Christian Cage and Jon Moxley, and then Hangman Page was stuck in a hallway. He was then subjected to country whipping matches with Jeff Jarrett weeks later on Collision. He then had to deal with a goof from Juice, he had to deal with a goof like Juice Robinson after that. And then he's losing in the opener clean after that pay-per-view. So it's like, do I invest in these things? I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to invest in these things because it's like, all right, well, I thought they were going somewhere with this guy. Oh, no? He's just going to end up as a gatekeeper? Wouldn't be in my company, but I don't run the company. I didn't like, the booking decision. I did enjoy the match. I thought, these guys have had a lot. They're career rivals, so they'll lean on, that, and maybe we get another match. Maybe we don't. Who knows? But I thought it was very puzzling, especially to, come off of that important special match that I guess didn't lead anywhere. If you look at, how Hangman Page came back over the summer with a brand new awesome character, had to lay it down to Bryan Danielson in the tournament, and then basically get told, you don't have to main event Wembley Stadium. You can main event the arena. Oh, you don't need to win the tournament. You can just put over Bryan Danielson. You don't need to win the championship. You can just fight Jeff Jarrett. You don't need to, be gone with as a main eventer after this incredible work where you come out during the All-In main event and the crowd goes insane. Nah. Like, let's call it what it is. Like, and I guess I'll rope this back into the main event review. Like, people just got worked by Bryan Danielson into wanting one final countdown. And this guy had to get pushed out the way for it. Like there was two sides to this thing. This was the Swerve and Hangman thing and the road to Danielson and Moxley. Because I got news for everybody. All this stuff decided in advance. They knew where they were going all the way back in the summer. Like this was the direction that they picked. So now I see where, where Hangman is, and I'm just like, he has to rebuild and start over again. And at this point, like, Paige has never been a guy that I was like some like do or die person with, like, like Kenny Omega or something, where I'm just like, all right, man, what the fuck? But this summer, it told me a lot. It told me a lot about how Hangman Page might be looked at, from the big seat. Like maybe there's value in him being, a kingmaker, so to say. Which is really just a nice way to say we're never actually going with you again, because you were partly responsible for my favorite wrestler no longer being here. I don't know, man. Like it's it's interesting, man. And if you're a Hangman fan, my heart's out to you. So we'll go into the AEW World Title match. Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Great match. Like I was really into the match that they had, and I thought that this was like a very unique kind of style. It was better than Moxley's match with Darby that he had, and they had Final Countdown playing like New Jack. They did a lot of brawling. It was a very tough match. And Moxley chokes him out, beats him essentially clean. No problem with that. And, they do the angle after the match, where, they're whooping his ass even more. And then, it's very dark. Like people are like depressed and kind of sad about this. Like I don't have a problem with how they did the finish. I don't have a problem with the match or the decision or anything. The thing that I didn't like, and then I was like, fuck this, was Wheeler Yuta. So maybe it was my own headcanon, which what I thought made sense would be, he didn't turn on this guy initially. Plus, we'll also go back. They did not, they choked the guy out last month, so them doing it again, that didn't really bother me. But I thought Wheeler Yuta was like the easy answer, like, all right, I'm going to try to avenge my master, Danielson. But he does all this, turns, joins, the Moxley group, and it's like, oh, great. So this guy is still fourth in his unit 2.5 years later. Nothing's happening. He's just going to be an underling pin eater. Nothing's happening. He's not going forward. Not only is he not going forward, he's arguably going backward now because now he's going to have to get pinned a lot more. I saw that and I was like, yeah, man. Like, it was like, I saw that and I was like, yeah, man, I'm out on this simply because of Wheeler Yuta thing. And I was like, this thing is just like, it's just another group. Like, I thought the easy avenge my master thing would have been he could either won or lost, but it's like it's some kind of change like within him. Instead, he's still in the same position in the hierarchy. He's not going to break out and be his own guy or anything like that. He chokes out Danielson, blah, blah, blah. All the folks assemble, and you got various people like Adam Cole showing up, Darby Allin, who seemingly, the one that's going to get the focus on this. But even in Darby Allin, it's like, how can you believe anything's going to pay off for anyone? I'm already like reeling off this Hangman thing, right? To where it's like, you thought he was going up somewhere. He is not. He was going nowhere. He was going to get country whooped by Jeff Jarrett. They did the direct linear loss of Darby Allin to Jon Moxley to take his title match, but did so in perhaps one of the most embarrassing ways possible for a babyface. Like, he just looked dumb. He looked like Sting's true successor. Like, he inherited the intelligence from Sting. And this guy, Darby Allin, has been beaten so much to the point where he had not won a singles match on pay-per-view since 2020 before the match with Brody King. You know, a guy that they rarely book. So how Darby Allin is just the automatic answer to this. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. like, at this point, I don't know how anyone could just be sure of these things. Like, it does not seem as like cut and dry. Like, but a lot of people were encouraged with the angle and all that. I have the Wheeler Yuta part is the part I don't like of it, and I admit that's like kind of that's a me thing and all that. But people are into this, and you know, these matches, we'll see how they look with Jon Moxley without Danielson in them. You know, I think that's fair to say. I don't think Mox has redeemed himself all the way from those performances that he did on pay-per-view earlier this year. But he's refreshed. He's got a new character, and you know, he got the belt however he got it. You know, some conversation was had in the back room. This is what Danielson wanted to do, and so it all set up to him. Like, so when I look at Danielson, for me, this left a lot to be desired. This guy's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and he's had some of the just best performances he's ever had within these last 12 months. And Jesse Collins wrote a great column about the unevenness of Danielson. And, you know, I tried to express a lot of that on this show over the summer, even to, you know, my co-host dismay at times, where it's just like, but it's Bryan Danielson. Like, that's been like the default kind of what's up, Mora? It's kind of been like the default response from various forums I've been in, but it's Bryan Danielson. I'm like, well, if it's Bryan Danielson, I would expect one of the most inspirational baby faces to be an inspirational baby face. To be someone that puts in his half on, you know, these programs or anything like that. An injury won't stop him from showing up to the building to put his half in on a lot of these programs. Like, it felt very microwaved and kind of unearned. It felt like the time for Danielson to actually be the champion was either like a year ago, a year and a half ago, something like that, where they could have used it. And then what happened here is like the decision to go with him just blasted through everything that I think the title like had kind of been building for with Swerve and everything like that. Like, it's like, all right, we cut everyone off for the final countdown and all that, and what were we left with? It all led to Jon Moxley now. Someone is now a 4-time champion. And then it's like, all right, you're feeding the transitive logic. Like, transitive logic doesn't always like hold up because of injuries, because it's like, you know, the way the crowd changes. You know, you never know who's going to be over, who's not. So they've got a plan, I'd imagine. But if, you know, as far as it is for us to point out and be like, yes, Darby Allin is the guy. I don't know how you can sit here and do that and not feel like, you know, oh, like it's 100% for sure going to happen. Like, especially the way this company has been booked. Like, so I don't know, man. The Danielson stuff left me kind of like, yeah, I like the matches when they come, but like the television that's going into them, I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling like other people are getting cut off left and right to be at service of this final countdown tour. And this guy's great. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Deserves it, earned it. It just seemed like it came at a inopportune time, I'd say, and then it culminated in not a new star, not someone that could have, you know, the whole Darby and Danielson match. I thought it was like, yeah, man, I thought that was going to be, you know, something cool, but it went another way. So we'll see how it goes. But ROH World Title match